Bismillah. In the previous video, I showed you how to set up the page view event for TikTok Events API. In today's video, I'll show you how to set up the view content event for TikTok Events API. We'll follow exactly these steps to complete this task. First, we'll create a tag for the view content event using the GA4 tag type so it can be sent to the server container. Then we'll configure the standard parameters for the view content event. Next, we'll go into preview mode from both the web container and server container to check if the event is being received by the server container along with all parameters. After that, we'll create a tag and trigger inside the server container for the TikTok view content event. Then create the necessary parameters and map them into the tag. Then test and debug the setup, and finally submit and publish the setup. Since this setup is a bit complex, please make sure to follow along carefully. Let's get started. This is the website where I'm gonna set up the tag. This is Google Tag Manager web container, and this is the Google Tag Manager server container, and this is TikTok Business Center. So according to the first step, I will create a tag for the view content event in web container. So let's open web container, then open tags. Then take a new tag, tag configuration, then choose from here Google Analytics. Then Google Analytics GA4 event. Then enter here the measurement ID. Now here in the measurement ID field, I'm going to use the same made up GA4 measurement ID that I used earlier for the page view event. If you watched my previous video, you already know why I'm using a made up ID instead of a real one. If not, I've left the link in the description. Please check that out for the full explanation. And that ID was Google tag with this measurement ID found in this container. Next, event name. Since we are using the GA4 event tag type for TikTok Events API setup, we have to name the event according to the GA4's naming conventions. That means here we'll use view item. Now you might remember that when we created the same event in the TikTok Pixel setup, we selected the event name as view content. But in this case, even though we are naming it view item in GA4, once the event flows through the server container and reaches TikTok Events Manager, TikTok will automatically interpret it as view content. And here's the important part. TikTok is able to match the view content event from the pixel with the view item event from the Events API. This way, TikTok understands they are the same event, whether it's coming from the browser side or the server side. Now that we have set up the event name, the next step is to configure the standard parameters. Here's the good news. Since we have already set up these parameters in our TikTok Pixel view content event tag setup, we can reuse the exact same variables here. This ensures consistency between browser side tracking and server side tracking through the Events API, which helps TikTok accurately match and optimize events. Before we dive in, if you haven't watched my previous video on setting up the view content event for TikTok Pixel, where I showed you step by step how to create these variables, I have left the link in the description. Make sure to check that out first, because we are using the same variables here. So let's go through the parameters one by one. So click on event parameters, then add parameter. We need here 8 parameters. These parameters are content ID, content type, quantity, value, currency, description, external ID, event ID. So let's write those parameters name. Here next to some variables you can see check marks. That means this is a known parameter. This is familiar to GA4 tag type. But this external ID and event ID is unknown to GA4 tag type. That's why there's no check mark here. Now let's set up value for these parameters. For content ID, I will click on this plus icon. Then choose from here item ID. Then content type will be product. Then value. Here it is value. Then currency. Then description, then quantity, then external ID, then event ID. I didn't create any variable for event ID yet. In that previous video, I mentioned that I would set up the event ID variable in the TikTok Pixel tag when we set up the Events API tag. So let's go ahead and set up the event ID in both of API tag and Pixel tag. So click on plus icon. Then again I will click on plus icon. Variable configuration. Then I have to open the community template gallery. Then search here event ID. I will use this variable template, add to workspace. Now I will set up this event ID in the view content event of TikTok Pixel. So I will duplicate this tab, then open TikTok Pixel view content tag. Then click anywhere, then parameter override. Here you will get deduplication configurations, then event ID. So click on plus icon, then choose from here event ID, then save it. Now I will go back to the previous tab. Variable setup is complete. Now let's set up the trigger. Click on triggering, then choose from here view content trigger. Then I will entitle the tag TikTok server side view content tag. Then save. Now according to the steps, we have completed this step and this one also. Now we'll go into preview mode from both of web container and server container to check if the event is being received by the server container along with all parameters. So first I'll open server container, then preview. Then web container, then go to preview. Then connect here. Tag assistant connected. Now let's perform the view content action on the website. Here in the TikTok Pixel Helper extension, we can see view content event has been fired. If I open Tag Assistant tab, then click on continue, we can also see here TikTok server side view content event has been fired. If I select here view item, then open the tag, we can see all of the parameters are extracting product data. This tag along with parameters should now be available in server container preview. So let's open server container preview. Here it is view item. So if I open the docs, we have completed this step. Now we'll create a tag and trigger for the view content event. So let's open server container, then open tags. Then I'll open this tag that I have created in the previous video. Now I will copy this tag. I will entitle it TikTok Events API View Content. I duplicated the tag instead of creating a new one from scratch, because if I had created a brand new tag, I would have needed to go back to TikTok Events Manager again to copy the pixel ID and the access token. Since those were already set up correctly in my existing tag, it was easier and faster just to duplicate it. Now I'll change the event name. It will be view content. Now let's set up the trigger. To change this trigger, I'll click anywhere, then delete this trigger, then set up the view content trigger. We have to create a new trigger for view item. So I'll click on this plus icon, then trigger configuration, then custom event. Then event name will be, I'll open server container preview mode, then open variables. Here's the event name. So I'll copy it, then paste here. I will entitle the trigger view item, then save it. There you go, then save again. Here's the view content tag. If I open docs again, we have created the tag and trigger. The next step is to create the necessary parameters and map them into the tag. For that, I will open server container preview mode. We can view the parameters of view item tag in two places. First is request and the second is event data. First, let's open request, then incoming HTTP request. Here's the parameters like event ID, external ID, then quantity, then description, then value, etc. And the next one is event data. Here you can see content ID, content type, currency, description, event ID, event name, etc. Now to capture the parameters for our TikTok view content event, we need to create variables inside the server container. So you may have already understood that there are two possible ways to create these variables. We can use request based variables like query parameter, request path or request header, which pull values directly from the incoming HTTP request. Or we can use event data variables, which pull values from the parsed J4 event payload that GTM server automatically processes for us. So while both methods work, the cleaner, easier to maintain and safer approach is to use event data variables. And that's what I'll use here. So open server container, then open variables. Then from user defined variables, take a new variable. Then choose from here event data. And the key path will be open preview tab, then copy from here content ID. Then paste here. Then entitle the variable content ID, then save. Then again take a new variable, variable configuration, then event data. then open preview tab, then copy content type, then paste here, then entitle the variable content type, then save. In the same way, I'll create variables for all of the standard parameters. There you go. Our variables are ready, like content ID, content type, currency, description, event ID, external ID, quantity, value. Now let's map them into the tag. So open the tag, then click anywhere, then open parameter override. Test event configurations. We have to change this test code. For that, I will open TikTok Events Manager. Then open the pixel, then test events. Here it is, test code. Then paste here. I had to change it because what I said in my previous video that this test code changes every 24 hours. So if you want to check the setup, you must have to use the updated test code. Then advanced matching configurations. I will choose from here plain AM parameters. Then for email and phone number, we don't get them from the users in the stage of view content event. So we have to skip them. Then for external ID, I have created a variable. So I'll click on this plus icon. Then choose from here external ID. Next step is properties. For example, product data. I'll choose from here use custom data. Then we have three options: single content, multiple contents, no contents. We'll choose from here single content. Then content ID, click on plus icon. Here it is, content ID. Then content type will be product, then quantity, then value, then currency, then description. Then deduplication configurations, event ID. There you go, all of the standard parameters are set up. Now save it. Now I'll open the docs again. We have completed this step. The next step is test and debug the setup. So let's go to preview again. First, I'll go to preview from server container, then from web container. There you go, tag assistant connected. Now let's visit a product page. We can see in TikTok Pixel Helper extension, view content fired. If I open Tag Assistant tab, click on continue, we can see the tag of TikTok server view content has been fired. Now let's open server container preview. We can see we have here view item. If I select it, we can see TikTok Events API view content tag has been fired and it succeeded. If I open it, we will get here under properties all of the variables we have set up, like quantity, content ID, description, etc. And we can see outgoing HTTP request from server response status is post 200, which confirms that the tag is working fine. Now if I open TikTok Events Manager, we can see also here view content and it's coming from server. So now it's confirmed that the tag is working fine. So if I open the docs, we have completed this step also. Then finally we have to publish the setup. So let's publish the server container. Click on submit, then name the version. I will name it TikTok Events API view content event setup. Then publish. Now open web container, then submit it and name the version, then publish. So that's it in this video. If you found this video useful, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more tracking tutorials. And do you need any help with TikTok Pixel, Conversion API or any other tracking setup? I offer professional tracking services for platforms like TikTok, Meta, GA4, Google Ads, Pinterest and more. You can hire me on Upwork or Fiverr or reach out via email or WhatsApp number like you can see below the video. All the links are in the video description too. So thanks for watching and see you in the next one.